The first time I bought Bitcoin, it was $50 worth of Bitcoin on Coinbase in 2015. And 2015 was also the first time that I typed Bitcoin into the YouTube search bar and started watching Bitcoin videos. 10 years later, I've fully transformed my view on just Bitcoin as an investment. And I fundamentally believe now that holding Bitcoin is better than holding dollars. When I bought my first $50, I watched it double and then sold off the Bitcoin units and let the money ride, right? Like let the house money ride. And that was the beginning of the Bitcoin stack, which makes total sense. Like that is the way when you first start stacking Bitcoin, you're primarily looking at it through its USD exchange rate, because USD is the primary currency that we're used to and growing up and everything is tied to. And something that happens is that over the years, you kind of build up and you either stay in that camp and it's like strictly just an investment and you look at it the same way as any other ticker symbol, and the goal of these ticker symbols is to go up in USD value and then like exit back for USD. Or you get sidetracked into this kind of side world where it's like the never sell world, never like stack Bitcoin and never sell, stack Bitcoin and never sell. That doesn't like fully excite me anymore either, because that's just really hard to wrap your head around. I think it's way better to have more of like a personal finance approach now, of just realizing that like money has received an upgrade, like money has received a software upgrade. And so the other thing, the problem with the never sell is the realizing gains or realizing profits or like it leveling up your life is so far in some like vague distant future that it's hard to stay motivated with that, or like kind of encourage other family members or like other people in your life to become motivated by that. Like, yes, there's a small segment of people that kind of believe in that vague distant future or whatever, but something that I've like recently stumbled across and become more interested in is kind of like realizing it now, like through creative personal finance and through like using the exchanges that are available today. Is it possible to just swap USD out of your life and use Bitcoin as your main money? There's friction there, but we're within striking distance of that. And that's where this concept of straight up holding Bitcoin is better than holding dollars. It's like blackjack. Like when you first start playing blackjack, it's kind of just this like gut feeling, like hit or stay, like that kind of thing. But no, there's a mathematical correct answer. Like that's what's called blackjack basic strategy. There's a mathematical correct answer on what you should do on every play. That's kind of how Bitcoin versus the dollar is. Like there's a mathematical correct answer that the odds of Bitcoin improving your purchasing power on any given day or over any given time frame compared with holding USD is in Bitcoin's favor. Like the odds are in Bitcoin's favor. And so people say that like, oh, using Bitcoin as your base money, well then like that's like timing the market. And I would actually argue the opposite, which is a what is it? It's like a small position right now, like a minority position. This is a minority opinion that timing the market is actually dollar cost averaging. Like dollar cost averaging is actually timing the market, whereas going fully no USD is the most like logical thing to do. Now, the tools are not there. Like the tools are not there exactly today to do that. But that's what I think like seeing around the corner is. Like a lot of people want to see around the corner when it comes to like other tokens or just like other like exact ways to like time the top of the bull run or whatever. But I think seeing around the corner is like really fine tailored, like easy to understand Bitcoin personal finance advice, to where when 5% savings accounts go away, and when the ETFs dampen the volatility of Bitcoin, there's going to be this flip where Bitcoin effectively just like replaces money market funds. Like right now, everyone knows that their checking account balance is trash. It's the lowest account that you have, and all it is a pass-through account for your bills, okay? So everyone is shoveling money into money markets, shoveling money into Bitcoin, shoveling money into altcoins, shoveling money into the S&P 500, into the NASDAQ, into real estate, interior square footage, because no one wants to hold USD. USD inside a checking account does not keep pace with the purchasing power that you want it to keep pace with. That's what Bitcoin can solve. Like Bitcoin fixes this, Bitcoin fixes this, Bitcoin can fix that. Like, because of the nature of everything, we've been so accustomed to like this Bitcoin is savings, Bitcoin is savings, Bitcoin is digital gold. Like that's kind of like whether you're coming from like no matter what angle you're coming from, like other crypto investors say that like Bitcoin is just like digital gold and like whatever boring. And then like even other people inside Bitcoin just kind of like really pound like just Gresham's law and some of these just like really deep like Austrian economic stuffs about the adoption of money and things like that. I think it's way different. Like I think it's just Bitcoin is a software upgrade for money. The main place you hold money, not an investment, is in your checking account. And so I think the next seeing around the corner is Bitcoin becomes like a day-to-day checking currency for early adopters way sooner than we think it's going to. Like, I don't think that's in a vague, distant future. That's in a striking distance future. That's in a striking distance future that inside our lifetime, ADP will run Bitcoin, checking accounts will run Bitcoin, companies' treasuries, like company treasuries will continue to grow and grow and grow. And there will be this point of where it's like, why are we even doing, like, why do we still have this other dollar unit? Like, why are we losing? Because there's friction, there's slippage. The whole thesis, my problem with the thesis of like save Bitcoin, send dollars is the slippage. Like I don't want to pay for the slippage of holding USD even for a little bit, even for a few days in between bills or whatever, okay? And because extrapolate it like this, there's 29 days a month when your bills aren't due, okay? 29 days a month, because your bill is due once a month. So there's 29 days a month where labor is being temporarily stored waiting for that bill to hit. Times that by 12 months in a year, that's like 330, 340 days a year that we have dead labor, dead time and energy and labor, which is our most scarce resource, sitting in a checking account, not building wealth for your family, And that's a software problem. And that's a user habit problem that we all are forced to use these checking accounts, this account and routing number, this ACH network, because that's a primary way that electronic money moves in America, okay? And so people throw like taxes or other frictions like in there. It still beats it. Like having a capital gain tax means you made money. It means you increased your financial position. So even above that fee, even above that hurdle rate, holding Bitcoin is better than holding dollars, and that math is going to continue to click for more and more people. I've been thinking about this currency thing for a long time, and I used to think that, businesses are going to be incentivized to adopt the new like point of sale technology in order to demand Bitcoin from their customers and kind of begin the transition that way of like, if you really want this good or service, like we only take Bitcoin. Like kind of that scene in Star Wars where he's like negotiating for the pod racer and the guy goes, sorry, we don't take Republic credits out here. We need real money. Like I was envisioning that of like business owners choosing to swap over to that. And you might still see that a little bit at the edges, but I think that's now like a pretty big lift. Like I don't think most business owners are kind of like ready to think about that. But I do think that individuals that are already incentivized, like the fact that you're here, the fact that you're already here 8 minutes into a YouTube video about Bitcoin means you're like pretty deep down, like thinking about owning a lot of it, or you already own a lot of it. And so you going the like last mile on like squeezing USD out of your life is like really close. Like it's really close. You're like most likely of all the people in the world to do that, not the random business owner kind of like receiving a door knock and like upgrading their software or whatever. And so now I think about the problem from the reverse side of if you squeeze USD fully out of your life and hold Bitcoin, and then you're interacting backwards with merchants or like counterparties that require USD as their currency, sweet, swapping into it at the exact moment so there's no slippage. Like that's the thing, is that the whole dual currency like world where people think that will be the like default is that's so hard for me to wrap my head around because I don't know why you would tolerate the slippage. Like in other countries, right? Like you try to swap into the currency that the store needs or whatever, like at the moment as fast as possible, or you take your paycheck immediately and try to convert it into what your home needs. And I think that's like to me, that's eliminating the slippage. Like, you don't sit on the soft currency at all, like at all. And so software is going to automate the ability to hold the main money and swap into it immediately there. And when that reaches a critical mass, then the business owner, because they're most likely going to be pushed to adopt that in their own life, then both parties come together and are like, why are we even using this intermediary? Especially if the software for transferring Bitcoin back and forth continues to improve. So it's fine to like point out different friction points like all along the way, but the concept of the individual being incentivized to push USD out of their life before a business owner is incentivized to kind of like grant Bitcoin as like a payment option among all their other payment options is something that has like clicked in my head recently over the past few months.